That was so cute.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Animation Fascination. StreamYard's fun because, it's supposed to autoplay that, but then it's, still has a delay, but, whatever. Welcome to Animation Fascination.
That's not me. That's the dog.
It's all right. Crossover, crossing the streams there you go. With me this episode are Kayla and Johnny from Geek the F Out channel.
Hello.
I'm ready.
He's locked and loaded to ectoplasm all over your face.
You have to join the Animation Fascination Patreon for that, everybody.
It's a spooky ghost. It's ectoplasm, just like Randy Marsh.
Yeah, exactly.
and then also with us is Jay from Geek Dad Life.
Hello.
Welcome, Jay.
Happy to be here.
Yeah. We got our own 4 Ghostbusters crew, so
yeah.
Welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the Venkman of the group? Probably Kayla.
Yeah.
For
Probably. Especially after watching these episodes, I'm like, wow, they really amped up his jokes in these.
Oh, it's so
It was like
good.
every other line, but I loved it.
First
I won't
2
give too much away.
seasons, Venkman is the best because it's what's his name? Maurice.
Lorenzo?
No. Lorenzo Music.
Yeah, Lorenzo Music. What a
He's
last
so good.
name.
Such a good
Mr.
name.
Music.
That's literally
Kayla,
his
had you
last
watched
name.
these before?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Shit.
Okay.
My first time popping my cherry.
Who picked the episodes? These were really good episodes. You picked them, Mark?
That was me.
Did you are you like a real Ghostbusters fan? You knew which ones to pick because they're really good if you're like just gonna pick 3 episodes
Well,
for a new
I
person.
found a 15 top best real Ghostbusters episodes,
Okay.
and then I kind of read through each of them and tried to figure, and was like, that one sounds good. I knew we needed the first one that we're going to talk about in a minute because I was like, we're doing a Halloween special. It needs
Absolutely,
to be an
when
episode
Halloween was forever,
that's
yeah.
and then when Halloween was forever is the
Mhm.
one of them that we're doing, and then the second one that we're doing is Knock Knock,
Mhm.
which also seemed like another good storyline to do.
Yeah.
Because it also kind of felt, I put this in my notes, but that one kind of felt similar-ish to the storyline of the video game. Like, the whole, in a way, like the Ghostbusters go to hell.
Yeah.
Kind of like, it's not like a 1-for-1, but it's similar-ish enough.
Yeah.
And then Janine Ghostbuster. Because Janine Ghostbuster.
Because representation.
Yeah. Oh,
It's a good one.
I have some notes about like what they did to Janine in the real Ghostbusters as compared to like how she's portrayed in the live action movies. I just thought it was interesting. But what I'm going to do first, so people's eyes don't get effed up, is I'm going to do this.
Whoa!
That was great timing.
Yeah, it actually worked. And for people listening to this later on in audio, you don't know what just happened.
It was impressive. Just trust us.
That's right.
He
I cheat.
flashed us.
Oh, wow.
It's not. Nick says he's impressed.
Okay.
It's not. It's
It's not that impressive.
Yeah.
Just, make
Take credit.
Take credit. Don't belittle your work.
I worked long and hard. It took many, many hours to get it just right.
See, they're already going at it.
They're just playing. Don't get Mark
This is-
demonetized
this is-
early.
Don't open the door to doomsday.
Here, I'll put my
Oh,
this in front of it.
Just gonna hold that the whole episode.
Yeah. I'm gonna get tired.
so one of the things I thought we could do here at the beginning is I was going to ask each, well, you kind of know Kayla's backstory to the real Ghostbusters, but everyone's kind of backstory to, I guess, the real Ghostbusters / Ghostbusters in general, and then I had some fun facts about the real Ghostbusters animated series. So I guess we can start with screen right. Oh, I actually did it right this time. Screen right with Johnny, then go down to Jade, then go over to Kayla, and then come back up to me.
Screen clockwise.
There you go.
I like that.
I was thinking about this. It's interesting because as much as I still, oh God, I'm the focus.
Don't do that to Johnny. Don't
As
do that to
much
either
as-
of us. We hate it.
As much as I
I'm gonna
like
keep it.
still collect all things like Masters of the Universe and Thundercats and Transformers and Power Rangers, like I don't do Ghostbusting collecting. I can talk, I promise. Like the way that Jay does, or the way that like the YHS crew does. But I love fucking Ghostbusters. Like I've watched the movie multiple times as a kid. I've watched the show when it was on Saturday mornings. Do you guys remember the like there was like a bumper that they would play on ABC Saturday mornings of like dancing in the street, like a music video with all the cartoon characters dancing with whoever was singing it. I don't remember. Like I went looking, and it's actually funny. I went looking for it to see if I could find it, and I couldn't. But I found a ABC Saturday morning block that someone uploaded to YouTube, and it not only had the Knock Knock episode of The Real Ghostbusters in that block, it also has a commercial for the Kenner Ghostbusters toys.
Nice.
Which
I have
commercial
that-
was it? I may know every commercial by heart. Which one was it?
It's the Tombstone Tackle,
Oh yeah.
X-Cop, and Fright Features Venkman and Winston. The Fright Features Winston is in the commercial, but at the end they don't show him. They don't say he's available. They just say Venkman, Tombstone, and the cop.
Racist commercial. It's messed up.
And I had
This
the Real
always
Ghostbusters
gets shortchanged.
toys.
It's the worst, but sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was also
And-
a little bit of racism in the first episode.
I used to
Of these
fill
three.
I used to fill 3 subject notebooks with like these stories that I would draw of like cityscapes with Godzilla and all sorts of different things fighting him, and the Ghostbusters were always there shooting Godzilla with their proton packs. And sometimes Godzilla was fighting Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And
That's probably a
I
comic
don't
book
know.
at this point.
It
That's
probably
like my
yeah, it
dreams
probably would
about
be.
Transformer dinosaurs, and then I find out that Transformer dinosaurs are actually a thing.
Oh, Dinobots?
But they were like half and half. They were like cyborg kind of things. And it was in the like Coliseum, and I'm like climbing out of the Coliseum, and they're chasing me.
It's a fun
Good
dream.
times. Yeah.
It reminds me of that like Michael Scott thing where like when I was so and so I dreamed of a unicorn before I even knew they existed.
But yeah, I love Ghostbusters. I always have. But yeah, I
Love
don't.
bustin'.
I keep up with it. I've played the video games, but for some reason, whatever reason, I just don't collect the memorabilia the way I do the other properties. I guess it's up there with the other ones, but it just is, and it hasn't had a lot to collect for a long time. So there's that. It might just not be on my radar. I know Ghostbusters fans have
Well,
been starving
you're in luck.
until recently.
Too much. R.I.P. my bank account.
I know. Good lord.
You got 2, didn't you? Jay?
So I'm going this way. So am I next? Is that what that
Yeah.
means?
Yes.
Okay.
Jay, what is your history with Ghostbusters?
So when I was 3 years
He
old,
hates it.
I got this very tape.
Wow.
I still have it.
Whips it out.
And
I don't believe you that you still have it.
yeah, it is somehow survived. You can see how well worn, like the
Oh,
front of
geez.
the thing. is
Sticker's not
fallen
even on
off.
there anymore.
Yeah, stickers have fallen off. It still plays, and yeah, you can even see my old graffiti on the box, just like trying to draw the blasts because I didn't like that the
Oh
picture
my
didn't
God.
have the blast on it.
You're like, it's not complete. It needs the blast.
And then I even like put extra fingers on the ghost
What?
to be like he was trying to get out or something. Anyway, so I've had this tape since. I was
You've had it
so-
since '83 and it still plays.
No. It's the tape came out
Oh,
in
okay.
86 or 87. I got the tape in 88, I think.
Still, that's impressive for well
tape
played
is
VHS.
38 years old.
Yeah.
And so I got a really nice, new, not completely destroyed, but this is well loved by, Baby J, and this is what it would look, basically brand new.
I'm surprised
and
it's
after.
not in like a plastic box or something.
Well,
the
it sits here in my little VHS collection, but so this is what kicked off Ghostbusters for me, was this tape, and then just became obsessed with it. And there was the cartoon show about the same time. So for my birthday, I got Ecto 1, I got a proton pack, I got a bunch of figures. So like it was my first toy love, my first movie love. It was my first everything love, cartoon love. And then I only had one tape of the Real Ghostbusters, even though I watched it on TV and stuff. But it's The Bird of Killed Darby and Other Stories. This is not my childhood one. I do not know where the childhood one is, but I found another tape of it.
Not
And
a
then this
real fan.
tape had Bird of Killed Darby, Night Game, and Lost and Foundry. But this tape I watched over and over and over again. But yeah, I love Ghostbusters. It's my favorite thing. I love a lot of things, but it's my favorite. And Real Ghostbusters is absolutely my favorite animated series of all time. And because it holds up. Like even watching these episodes and prep for tonight, and the boys watched them with me. And I hadn't watched Knock Knock or Janine. Janine, you're a Ghostbuster, or you're a Ghostbuster, Janine? What's the title of it?
Janine
Real
Melnitz,
boy.
Ghostbuster.
Janine Melnitz, Ghostbuster. There's a few of Janine becoming a Ghostbuster, but I forgot how good Knock Knock was. Like Knock Knock is so good. It's like taking the movie and just condensing it to 20 minutes. The first movie, and just it holds up so well. Like I watched a lot of 80s cartoons or 90s cartoons, and it still holds. Like it's actually just a good story. Like it captures the essence of the characters in the movie, and it does something different or new each week in each episode. At least in those the J. Michael Straczynski first 2 seasons, is so good. I freaking love it.
The dogs love it too.
Yeah. Sorry.
Maybe that's a good time for the commercial that Johnny has to play it really quick.
Yeah, I can do that. I have the toy commercial queued up. I forgot to mention that.
Nice.
Share. Oh, I'm gonna have to.
Stop humping your brother.
Just turn your camera like this way.
Yeah, but they sometimes go behind me here.
To people not watching, she's talking about dogs, by the way.
Yes.
Again, we don't want to get Mark's channel shut down.
Wait, I have to. There, that's what I want to do.
He's struggling to get it up.
Yeah.
Are you able to find the correct buttons?
Yeah, I think this will work without giving echo.
Okay. All right, I'll add it to the stage.
Here it is.
Ghostbuster! Each sold separately.
Ghosts in a football field? Nah. Hey, buddy, see anything weird? It's Tombstone Tackle. Don't lose your head. Let's take a hike. There's a policeman. We're safe. Oh, no, it's ex-cop. I can't believe my eyes. Whoa, we're not scared.
Peter Venkman with Grissom Susum, Tombstone Tackle, and X-Cop each sold separately. The Real Ghostbusters, new from Kenner.
Wow, they really
Oh
did
my
just
gosh.
like straight up like, hey, F you, Winston. We're not even
Yeah.
going to put you at the end of this. Wow.
The other thing I
dope?
forgot to mention, one of my favorite video games of all time, is the Commodore 64 Ghostbusters game.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I remember playing that one.
Yeah. I liked how the kid did all the effects.
But that's what was neat, because it was like you playing with the toys.
And the
and something-
stadium they had built out of
Yeah.
cardboard boxes.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's how you might play with it. Something else that's kind of cool about Fright Features, those 2 figures, it's the first time you had Janine in the line. So there was a Janine figure there. So it was the 4 GBs plus Janine. as a Ghostbuster, she was wearing a pink Ghostbusters jumpsuit.
Of
So
course
she
they gave her
was
pink.
part of the team. I think it's the only time she had pink. She was blue, and just her normal dress. Yeah, but anywho, and she wore that same pink jumpsuit in one of the episodes. She had a pink Ghostbusters jumpsuit, not the one we saw, obviously.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
she had the standard khaki.
Or she was wearing Peter's.
like
suit,
brown.
or Speeder.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah, I
Bear,
think it was.
Bear Peter suit,
Yeah, she had the brown pants on. Just,
which she donned again in Extreme Ghostbusters. She put on the original stuff, which was cool. It was a fun episode.
nice.
Nice.
How about you, Kayla?
Do I need to go again? Yeah, I have loved Ghostbusters since I was little. I was a Ghostbuster for Halloween when I was in like 4th grade or something. Still trying to find that picture. It is somewhere in storage, I'm sure. My mom made the proton pack and everything. It was pretty cool. I don't think any other kid knew what I was in my class. That was fine. I didn't care. Oh, hello. Now you want attention? But yeah, I've loved it since I was little, and I love pretty much all the movies. But yeah, I've never seen The Real Ghostbusters, so this was my first time watching any episodes. So thank you, Mark, for popping my cherry with that. And yeah, unfortunately, the person who's next to me has gotten me into the toys as well now. And yeah, like I said before, RIP my bank account. So yeah.
Yeah, Mondo is not for the faint of heart.
I didn't get any of those, but
Oh,
I did.
you did the
get
HasLab?
Yeah.
That's expensive too. It's expensive either way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
Anyways.
yeah, the Acto 1 that's coming out, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you go?
Yeah.
Did you go deluxe or base?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, you got
Deluxe. Yeah.
I mean, you might as well at that point.
Yeah. It's not that much more.
No,
So
it's like
Might as well.
$75 more, and you get the 4 Ghostbusters and their GB2
Mhm.
suits.
they still haven't shown pictures of Slimer's butt though, so I'm not completely sold.
You don't have any Slimer butt pictures?
It's in this book.
On the HasLab.
They didn't. Is it any of the videos? Because they were moving it around at the Friday or that breakfast. I don't know if any showed up from that. Maybe
I don't know if I watched that, but their initial video, I didn't see it, but I'll have
he's
to
got
check.
where Slimer's got their butt.
Okay. I was like, it's gonna be hard to beat Phantasm's slime ball booty. It's pretty epic.
I do think there's the picture of Slimer in there,
Yes.
like that concept art in this book of Slimer's big old badonka.
Juicy booty.
I feel like
It
this
is
HasLab
pronounced
Sorry,
Juicy
go
booty.
Juicy. I think this HasLab, they really nailed the Slimer, like, because they were talking about the profile, so you had it in profile, so you could see, the onion shape or whatever, and it looks they did a good job getting
Amazing.
Slimer in profile. It's
Double
important.
cheeked up on a Sunday afternoon. Dead.
Oh man. All right,
Anyways.
so I guess it's my turn. So I'm gonna. Here you go. Here's little 4-year-old Mark with his
Aw.
Real Ghostbusters. Thing.
That's
on
like
a tablecloth.
GB2 logo, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, the tablecloth. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
you can kind of see it like where, but I have like Ghostbusters sweatshirt on. Well, it's a Real
Don't
Ghostbusters
lick
sweatshirt.
He-Man.
Real Ghostbusters
Nice.
sweatpants that had the Ghostbusters 2 logo on the. So that if I was 4, that means that was 1990. So the show would have already. Right. When did the show end? It was 19.
Show ended in
91.
91, I think.
Okay,
Jinx.
so
Thank you,
it's-
IMDb.
So, here, I'm gonna display this really quick. That Johnny's got teed up really quick.
I'm on top of things.
There you go.
But I need the back. I need it from the back. That's what they said.
You have to pay for it to get that.
Yeah, it's that's extra.
You know what? I need to respond to Emily, so I'll just text her about it. Be like, hey, Can you send
There you go.
me
Girl,
the juicy
kind of need to
booty?
see that.
Girl. I do need to respond back to her though. We're both the same way. We'll like text and then like a month will go by and be like, I'm so sorry. Tell me you both have ADHD without telling me you both have ADHD.
Wait, someone can just not exist for like 4 months and then, boo, hey, I'm back.
Pretty much.
Uh,
Beautiful.
Then I think like my Ghostbusters fandom like started actually with the Real Ghostbusters. Like I watched that first and was like a huge fan of the Real Ghostbusters. Like I had the plastic proton pack and all of that stuff. And I had the only action figure I can remember having is Egon, because Egon's been my favorite Ghostbuster.
Mm-hmm.
Well, since that, and then when I think I was like 5 or 6 when I finally saw the first movie. At that point,
Okay.
and I had to ask my dad what was going on to Ray in the one scene
We all did.
that I also forgot about when I then
I
showed
didn't.
my
Didn't?
son the
I was
movie.
like, why
Well-
is that happening? And everybody was like, that's fine.
I don't know what I thought it was. But like, of course, my parents being prudes never said anything. But like, let me watch it. But I don't know.
I watched it a million
I feel
times
like
and never knew until I was an adult.
Yeah.
Or at least of
I
age
think
to
that's
know
how
what
it
that
went.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never questioned it. I always just thought he was like, oh my God, there's a ghost.
Yeah, exactly. And for
Like-
some reason, he's taking his pants off. I don't know. That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
On the
Well,
flip
ectoplasm.
side, on the flip side of that, I also was able to watch RoboCop a million times as a kid, and that is not a movie that you should let your children watch.
Yes, because I must have gotten like a TV tape or something, like taped off TV, because I watched RoboCop again with a mature, like I was older, and I was like, I watched this movie. This is awful. Like it's a great
Yeah.
movie, but it's awful for a kid to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, RoboCop shoots that dude's dick off.
Yeah, and just like
and like
There's a whole
there
shirt you
are
can buy that says, "Remember that time that
so-
RoboCop shot that guy's dick off?"
also in like the first
I'm sorry,
5-10
what?
minutes of the movie
I've never
there's
seen RoboCop,
you
but
have
a
it,
apparently
ton-
I
it is
should.
violent.
of bare boobies all over the place
Yeah.
in like
Oh,
the opening
and
minutes of that
titties?
movie. Oh yeah.
I am
It must have been a TV. It must have been a TV movie because I watched that movie.
Maybe.
Is that where they got it from for 21 Jump Street to shoot off his dick?
Yeah,
Probably.
probably.
It's the most
That-
famous dick.
That would have been a
shooting
PG movie in the '80s as well.
off.
It probably. I mean, it probably is.
Probably.
Actually. No, it probably was.
No,
R.
RoboCop's a hard R of the '80s. I
Yeah.
feel like the dude melting from the toxic waste that still gives me nightmares.
Nightmares.
I bet. So to finish off my Ghostbusters
Oh, yeah,
story.
sorry, Mark.
Oh, you're all right. Yeah, and then I've just like I've been a fan of Ghostbusters ever since. Like I liked the 2016 Ghostbusters movie. I liked the
Same.
Extreme Ghostbusters animated series. Jason Marsden does a great job in that series too. If I would highly recommend this comic too, Ghostbusters Crossing Over. If anyone hasn't read that,
Yes, it's a great one.
because it's the Real Ghostbusters animated characters, the Extreme Ghostbusters animated characters, the 2016 Ghostbusters, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, and whatnot,
Answer the call, yeah.
and then the original OG Ghostbusters all meeting each other through a crossroad.
I think when you said this before, I was like, so they basically had one big orgy, is what you're telling me.
I mean, you'll have to read that to find out. But
I
Man,
guess
Mark
so.
keeps paywalling all the good stuff. I mean,
yeah, also Ecto Cooler needs to just be a thing that exists all the time.
right? I thought when they brought that back in 2016, which is, if anybody badmouths the 2016 movie, it should
They can go
be
suck a dick.
lauded on bringing back High C Ecto Cooler alone, let alone the movie was actually pretty good. But
This is from
And
2016.
so that's from 2016, and
Don't drink it.
I
Expired in
drank them.
April
I still have a
2017.
whole bunch. I think Kayla, you've seen my hoard of high
Uh-huh.
C cooler
Isn't it in the?
in the pantry.
Yeah.
But it's wild to me that there's been 2 movies. They brought back Stay Puft Marshmallows. They've done all this stuff, and they haven't gotten Ecto Cooler to come back. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's weird that they didn't bring it back for Afterlife or Frozen Empire.
Right? It was perfect time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ugh.
But so before we get into the episodes really quick, I wanted to read off a few quick fun facts that all of us probably know, or maybe don't. So the show's name, because it's called The Real Ghostbusters, refers to the fact that the characters weren't the first Ghostbusters. A live-action kids TV show called The Ghost Space Busters featured 2 paranormal investigators and a gorilla. So look that up. Yeah,
it's really, but it's actually even cooler. Like, or maybe it's not. It's a story of corporate. Can we curse on this show?
Yeah,
I said
Fuckery.
orgies.
Have you listened? I was going to say,
Orgy's
you
not
listen
a
to the.
swear. It's just so.
Yeah, but I also said
26
fuck.
minutes of this
Did you?
episode?
Okay, I missed it. Okay. But there's corporate fuckery because Filmation owned the rights to Ghostbusters, and so the movie that they had to use different names, and they didn't have the rights to use Ghostbusters while they were filming it, and so there's other takes where they're like, call the Ghost Breakers or whatever. Like you can go find these videos online.
The
It's
Ghost
kinda
Smashers, I think.
Ghost Smashers.
Here,
They did
Johnny
different
furiously typing away.
different takes, and it's weird. It's kind of off-putting. But they did that the hotel finale scene where they're all going Ghostbusters, 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 and one of the producers put him on the phone and said, "You hear this? It needs to be called Ghost, but get the deal done." So they made a deal with Filmation, said they can use Ghostbusters, but the deal was if they make a cartoon, they have to use Filmation to make the cartoon. Well, the time came to make a cartoon about Ghostbusters, and Columbia, TriStar, whatever, was like, fuck you, Filmation, we're going to do our own thing. It fell through. And then Filmation was like, fuck you, you can't do it. It's like, too late, we're already doing it. And so then Filmation was like, well, fuck you, we're going to do our own Ghostbusters cartoon. And we have the rights to call it Ghostbusters. And so they got it out before the Real Ghostbusters. And then Columbia to be like, well, fuck you, Filmation's Ghostbusters. We're going to call it the Real Ghostbusters. We're the Ghostbusters people care about. And there you go.
I like how even in the opening intro, like the real part comes in at the very end where it's like, the real Ghostbusters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now
With
it's
the
now it's
sparkly-
the animated series.
It's so
Real
dumb.
Ghostbusters.
Sony, calm down.
Yeah,
They
Dan
got their
Larson
dicks in
just
a
put
twist.
out a Secret Galaxy
He did.
video for Filmation's Ghostbusters last week. He has one
Daddy
for the Real
Larson.
Ghostbusters too, I think.
Yeah, he does. He's done one for that. And Extreme Ghostbusters too. They're all good.
Yeah.
That could have made this comic really awesome as if those Ghostbusters were also in this crossover.
I wonder who
Just,
owns
Ultimate orgy.
Yeah.
Because it had a gorilla then too at that point.
If
No, it's crazy. But
if it goes with the rights, like, because there's all the hubbaloo, I can talk, I promise. Hubbabaloo about like He-Man and its rights with like the Filmation rights with Universal. So if Universal has Filmation rights, then it would probably be with them or Universal DreamWorks.
who has the rights to Filmation's Ghostbusters?
J. Michael Straczynski, also a writer on He-Man and She-Ra.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting around before he created Babylon 5.
I did not know that. I saw his name come up on the one episode. I was like, wait, really?
Oh yeah, on the When Halloween Was Forever, and I was like, "Hey, J. Michael Straczynski,
Yeah,
Amazing Spider-Man."
he's the best.
Yeah.
And I met him at Comic-Con years ago.
Of course you did.
And I think I was the only one in line that came up to him to talk about Real Ghostbusters because, like, everyone,
What?
because he's a famous writer.
Yeah.
And he's done a lot of great things.
Yeah,
And
Ghostbusters.
I was like, hey, how about remember
Yeah.
Ghostbusters? Was that cool? And he's like, yeah, kid, whatever.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
very
like
nice. It was very-
like the Chris Farley show.
Yes.
Remember that time you wrote the Real Ghostbusters? That was awesome.
Essentially, exactly. It was awesome. It was basically that.
Yeah. So this show it was also praised for fleshing out the world and making references to the film and the actors. And then we mentioned already, but the show had a sequel series called Extreme Ghostbusters. And then this bit of trivia is always one that, like, because you already talked about how like Winston never gets any kind of respect. This one still blows my mind, is that Ernie Hudson, who played Winston in the movies, auditioned to voice the character on the animated series, but did not get it. It went to, this guy, Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio Hall.
I was like, how do you not just give it?
Some people are better
Ernie
like
Hudson.
at voice acting. Voice acting's
Yeah.
hard.
It also might have been weird if he was the only one.
only
like
one?
if everybody else's
Yeah.
voice was different, but his was the same.
That'd be a little off-putting.
I don't think kids would have noticed.
Kids probably wouldn't have noticed now.
But I don't know. I just think that's funny that he auditioned, and they're like, no.
Talk
don't see
about
his-
an actor. Like, being an actor, you just have to be okay with being rejected all the time. But talk about like your ego. You gotta have a strong ego to kind of survive that. Just like, we know you played him in the movie, but sorry,
Not
we're
good
giving it
enough
to
for
Arsenio.
animation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all right. Winston's like funds everything now, so
Yeah,
That's
he
true.
does.
That's
Winston's
true.
doing
He
okay.
came out on top.
Yeah.
And he looks
He's a power top.
he is a power dog, because if you've seen him, he's like in his
Yeah.
70s and he looks amazing.
Ripped.
Oh, did you break it?
We're okay. We're okay.
Pro Donatello.
But he's jacked. I met him
Mm-hmm.
a few beers back, and I was just like, God, okay.
Did you say a few beers back?
No,
Yeah.
years
I
back. Few
I
years
thought that's
back.
what he said too, but he
He
said
was
Beers
saying you
back.
said a few beers back. I'm like,
Few
is that what the
beers
kids?
back.
Is that what the kids are saying these days?
They are. I have young children. They keep me hip. Skibbity toilet. I know them all.
yeah.
Oh,
You don't know
here-
Skibbity toilet? Shh.
There you go.
Kayla,
From
you gotta get with the culture here.
2017.
Aww.
so
I was
cute.
was holding the ecto cooler. Man, this thing does not want to. Yeah. But
It
yeah.
hates
yeah.
you.
Oh, it's still trying to track your face. If you cover your face,
Yes.
it'll focus.
You need to highlight Nick's comment. Zaddy. That is.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Aw. Thing is, like, Patrick would be like 20 feet towering over Ernie Hudson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can also tell this was 2017 because it's like me times 2. But yeah. So let's see.
Zaddy. That needs to be highlighted.
Winston Zaddymore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold on. There we go. Now it is on
Those
screen.
are still
There you go.
going. Beautiful. Thanks,
'Cause
Nick.
they know mommy's distracted, so
Moment of silence. Oh yeah, and you kind of talked about Lorenzo Music earlier. This is always the thing that I think is funny too. Is like Lorenzo Music originally voices Venkman for like the first few seasons, but then is replaced by Dave Coulier, Uncle Joey, after Bill Murray had complained that the character sounded like Garfield, which I think is funny because, ironically, who would Bill Murray go on to eventually voice the character of? Garfield. So what I think this means is that we eventually will see Chris Pratt play Peter Venkman.
Peter Venkman. Oh,
No.
wow.
I think that's how it works,
Please
right?
no.
If you play Garfield, you also have to play Peter Venkman.
Please, dear God, no, no. Please, God,
Is
no.
that
I
how it
mean, who
works?
would you cast? Who would you recast for Peter Venkman? You can't recast Bill Murray. So what do you
Well, I
do?
mean, that character's still alive, so you can't
Mm,
until they. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
the actor.
At some point, I don't know, 20 years from now, they'll reboot it, and then they'll have to
Yeah.
recast him.
Well, I think the only
I don't
actor
even
you would have
know.
done that with would have maybe been Paul Rudd. Would have been
Yeah.
like
You're
a
right.
similar enough, like,
I could see that.
but
But-
like now you can't. 'cause-
So
I feel
For-
like Robert Downey Jr. would be pretty good too.
Yeah, because you kind of have to have that scoundrel. Like Bill Murray has that
Yeah.
scoundrel kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
thing about him.
Yeah, I think Paul Rudd would work for like
swagger.
appearance, but not as much for personality.
Yeah.
Maybe more be
as
Ray.
Ryan Reynolds
Yes.
would be a better Venkman.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think.
Ryan Reynolds has that
can
kind of
see that.
scoundrel, like, you know.
Yeah.
Deadpool.
Yeah.
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 Let's get Harrison Ford to do it.
Deadpoop.
Harrison Ford, like Peter Venkman.
Now, Harrison Ford has that like disaffected, I'm too cool to care about this, but then
Yeah.
he doesn't quite have that scoundrelly, just like little sly smirk. Gotta love me. No, he doesn't really do that. I think,
I mean, he famously played a scoundrel.
but a different kind of. That's
Yeah, I
a
know.
different kind of.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like the right way to describe like Bill Murray's aura. It's like he doesn't give a shit.
Slimy.
Smarmy.
Smarmy.
Although
Ours were very close, Johnny.
I do remember watching Ghostbusters, like the first one more recently, and I was like, man, half the stuff that Venkman does in this would not like pass
Work
mustard nowadays. Like Venkman, you would have
Those are
lost
the
your
things I would call out.
I will. I agree. It wouldn't fly today, but she was throwing himself at him like, nope, I don't get involved with possessed people. So he did
Yes.
have a line. And he didn't cross it.
Yeah.
He respected consent and
yes,
her
exactly.
needing to be not under the influence of a demon.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then and then the last one was Maurice LaMarche, who people may know as Brain from Pinky and the Brain, amongst many
Played so many roles.
other
yeah.
voices. Was asked not to impersonate Harold Ramis when auditioning for the role of Egon, but he did it anyway, and he still got the part. So there you go. Maurice LaMarche is going to be here in Phoenix this
Oh,
weekend
is he?
for Ulu.
I'd love to meet him.
Him and Rob Paulson.
Nice.
So Pinky and the Brain will both be here.
Oh
That's
my
awesome.
god. That's iconic.
Studio Henge has interviewed Lorenzo Music. That's awesome. He's passed away. He's not alive anymore, so that's impressive.
Huh.
People got to find that. Watch
Yeah.
it.
Send us the link, Studio Henge.
Yep. Post it in the
Yeah.
comments.
Oh, sir, back off.
But to me, that original voice cast. So for the first, I think it's the first 97 episodes. It's Lorenzo Music, Maurice LaMarche, Arsenio Hall, and Frank Welker. And that's also coincides with the episodes that like Jace Michael Straczynski oversaw as like the showrunner or whatever. That they didn't always have the best animation, because they kind of had to rush through all those episodes. But the stories, all of them, like even the silly ones, were something cool, unique, and exciting.
I agree. So start kind of going from that. So the first episode we're going to talk about is When Halloween Was Forever, which some of these I got like different episode numbers for like, especially the season 2 ones. They kind of, one of them said it was like episode 8, like one of them said it was episode 40. So I was like, whatever.
So yeah, I was looking into it. Apparently there's a different, like, there's an airing order and then an order that they're in on DVD and a production order.
Production
Like
order,
there's so many different orders.
Yeah. Because it had a parallel thing. It had an ABC primetime run, which was a smaller amount of episodes, and those usually had the higher quality animation. And then they did a syndication run of like, I don't know, 80 episodes or something like that, all kind of in this span of 6 months, or I don't know it was a short span of time. But that ended up being like the bulk of the series, even though it ran till 91. Those episodes filled so many gaps for so long that they only added, incrementally so many episodes through the rest of the run. So if you have the complete series on DVD, like I do, like those first production, even though it's like only a year or something, it takes up like 3 of the 5 disc book sets or whatever. It's kind of nuts.
Damn.
Yeah, animation was wild because like in the early, because like the first season of He-Man is something like 65 episodes.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, and they wrote them all in like in 2 months or some shit like that.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild.
Animation houses were like
Yeah.
sweatshops in the early 80s. Just
Kind of were in a way because they did it overseas.
yeah.
There's this cool story if you have that DVD box set with one of the producers, and they
So
hired
the Time
that?
Life box set.
yeah, the Time Life box set, yeah. And I think it was J. Michael Straczynski said in that they had a scene where they're going to have a pizza in the scene, and the studio that was doing it, I think, was in Japan. And culture, like they didn't have any idea that the animating team had no idea what a pizza looked like.
Oh man.
So they just, from their own interpretation, painted or drew art for a pizza, and it didn't look anything like a pizza. And it's in the episode because it's just what you had. But it's just, you said there was things like that, and they had to produce so fast. It was like, well, it's just in there. You can't change it, so it just is what it is.
Yeah, like I almost feel like they would produce like all of those episodes, and then be like, all right, this is, and then cut, like here, be like, this was season 1, right? Cut here, this is season 2. Cut here, this is season 3.
Yep.
So you just made them all at once, and then, which is kind of similar to the way that Lucas did the first 5 seasons of the Clone Wars, or like the first 100
so
episodes
annoying.
of that. Well, and then those aren't even like in like chronological order for like the first 3 seasons of that show, but that's a whole. That would be on. That's for the Hold'em Maneuver podcast. So we'll talk about that over there. But
Speaking of animated pizza, I always wanted to have pizza that tasted the way that TMNT pizza looks like it should taste, because it looks like it would be delicious, but I don't think there's any real world equivalent to how that pizza feels like it would taste based on the way that it's drawn.
oh yeah, I saw a meme the other day that said, of course millennials always want pizza. Did you see what they fed us in an animated series over the course of our childhood? And it was like a picture of like pizza in a Goofy movie, pizza in Ninja Turtles. It was like pizza, I think, in Doug too. But it was like just a bunch of different animated pizza slices that all looked super delicious, and you're like, yes, obviously. the Goofy movie pizza one, that one's the one that still is like, if I could
That's
eat
epic.
animated
time.
pizza,
Yep.
that's the one I'd reach my hand into the screen and pull it out.
I'm not just talking about the toppings, Nick. I'm talking about the way that the cheese and the crust was drawn. Like, it just feels like it would be the best pizza you've ever had. I don't know. It's just, it tickles something in my brain.
It's like the way Studio Ghibli draws food, but
Mhm.
pizza.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah. It's the best way I can. Yeah. So I guess what did you guys think about this first episode when Halloween was forever?
My first comment was, why did this dude make the Ghostbusters songs sound so sexual?
Which ones?
The
Like
intro song.
Oh, the Ray Parker Jr. version?
But it's not his
That's
version.
not.
Well,
I don't think it's that sexual.
Just listen to it again. When I was watching it, I was like, it's not super sexual, just like the way he pronounces things.
Mm.
Yeah.
I would say Extreme Ghostbusters has a little more juice behind it.
because it's extreme.
Yeah, it's true.
My music question is, what the hell was the song after the opening scene in the firehouse? Like,
Oh, are you talking about that Frankenstein one or whatever?
Yeah.
is that like a leftover? It feels like like they were trying to make it feel like the movie, like it should be a leftover from the movie. Yeah, it's so weird.
I was like, what is happening?
Do you want to know the story of what that is?
Yeah,
Or is it
absolutely.
Get too nerdy. Okay. So there was this band. I think it's Tahiti is the band. If I'm, it's just like leftover.
It's a magical place.
Where Coulson went.
Right.
Yeah, I think Tahiti band.
Nerds.
Yeah, Tahiti. Okay. So there was this band,
Gotcha.
and they got this band to basically write a bunch of songs for Real Ghostbusters, and there was actually a Real Ghostbusters soundtrack on cassette tape that had all of these songs on it. And so, and they're just like kind of 80s pop songs, and they use them throughout again, those first 90 something episodes or whatever. So this was one of those songs by Tahiti. So you can go, they have the whole,
To add it to Spotify or Apple
it's
Music.
Midnight Action is the song that was there.
It's called
So
Midnight Action.
Midnight
Is that-
Action.
I'm sorry.
I
The
think
opposite of a nooner.
I was gonna say that we should go back to the comment Kayla said then.
Yes. Midnight Action. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's a lot of good songs. Check it out sometime.
That's funny. This would be around the time, like, because this series was like what 88, and then you have like the soundtrack for Batman 89. What year did Ghostbusters 2 come out?
89.
Because that's the same thing. Like that soundtrack is like an event in and all of it's on
Oh,
its own.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sean still threw it at a zombie though, so you know.
I'm trying to see when they released
No.
it.
No,
It's funny about Venkman's
Oh.
voice.
That is
When
a-
I
that's
thought his voice kind of sounded like Louis Tully, because he would like stretch out words, kind of like Louis does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where's Lewis in these? Because this is supposed because
He doesn't show up till closer to the second movie. They bring Lewis into the show.
okay,
Mm.
that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Got to
He's
build him
not
up
in
just
any
for the
good
second movie.
episodes. I don't think he's in any good episodes. He's kind of the later half of the show where it's like,
My next note was, so is Slimer their pet now?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Very
shit,
cute
you
pet.
really didn't know it. Like you went in
Mm-mm.
fresh.
merchandising.
Raw dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely
great,
merchandising.
there's a great episode. It's another one that I would put in like the top episodes. Citizen Ghost is the episode, and it tells the story of how Slimer became a part of the team. It's a really good episode, and it basically
I'm definitely gonna go back and watch them all now.
that
I'm trying
one
to find it and
connects
watch them all.
directly to the Ghostbusters movie. It's like right after they defeat Gozer, and they still
Oh, yeah.
have their they all wearing their tan suits like in the movie. It's very good.
There's
And they
another
go
one
get
that
shawarma.
yes.
there's another one
Exactly.
where like Egon was a ghost, and I almost thought that one was interesting. Just now, like in
Mhm.
retrospect, now that Egon has been
True.
a ghost. Yeah.
I'm assuming because I never really thought about it, but I'm assuming the redesign with the different colored suits and Egon being blonde is just to make the characters more distinct from each other on
Yep.
screen and more visually interesting than all
Yeah.
guys with brown hair and khaki suits.
Yeah, it was that like so
Or-
just from an animation perspective, you lose track of who was who, so they just changed the color so you
Yeah.
able to track it easier.
I did like that inspired what Kate McKinnon looked like in the
Yeah.
Real Ghostbusters. Or I mean, not the real. You know what I meant.
Holtzman.
Yeah, Holtzman. She's art. You know, I think after I saw that, I was like, she might be my favorite Ghostbuster.
Can I just
She's
say,
awesome.
I was in a
yeah.
Ghostbusters panel with Hasbro, and there's all these YouTubers and bloggers and stuff in there, and they asked like, "What was your favorite Ghostbuster?" And everybody said their favorite Ghostbuster. Yada yada yada. I was the only one who said Holtzman was their favorite Ghostbuster.
Holtzman rules.
Holtzman's fucking awesome.
I do want to see them do this actually. Like
That'd be
now
fun.
that they've like kind of like restructured the movies a bit, like do that as a movie.
Yeah.
And then
Be
that
fun.
way you can incorporate that, so that's not just like
And
an
then
offshoot movie by itself.
have an X-rated version.
I mean, that probably already exists.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, the
does.
family that
Rule
best together.
34. Oh my god. I still can't believe they did that. Speaking of that, Slimer feeling up Venkman was quite funny.
Yeah. I was like, what is Slimer doing?
He's
Yeah.
looking for food.
Mm-hmm.
He's got
But-
some in his sock.
Yeah. But this episode is a classic. It's an all-timer. But I'm curious, Kayla, like did you like it as a story? Like what did you think of like the whole arc and everything?
I did. I mean, I knew of well, in the show it's Sam Hain, but in reality it's Samhain. Um, it makes me think of Sauron. I'm just gonna call him Sauron. I knew he existed because I got the
Like
Sauron. LOL. Sauron. Janine. I think Slimer's in there. Set that has like the firehouse.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then just from me seeing other things, but yeah, I thought it was really good. And then how they left it off too, where like essentially he'll be back in another episode.
Yeah.
Like he's not done. But I thought it was really good. I was hooked right away, for sure.
Yeah. It's something I love that J. Michael Straczynski did, which was just like bring in like real cult or real ghost, like other things and other mythologies, and then brought it into the show. Even though they didn't pronounce Samhain right, but Sam Hain, I call him, if I'm talking about the real Ghostbusters, when I say Sam Hain, because that's what they refer to him as there. Yeah, I freaking love. I remember watching this episode as a little kid and just being like, oh my god, this is so cool, and even still it holds up. But I will say the animation in this episode, not great. This is not one of the good animated episodes.
Yeah, like you could see some of like
rough.
some of like the shortcuts, like especially with like all the ghosts like swarming like around the building. On point, I was like, hey, it's the same 5 ghosts. Just like,
but they like, even like when they go to the character designs, like when they're in the firehouse, it's pretty rough, and then they mess up the colors they swap, or like Egon's supposed to be on the ground level, and then he ends up being on the roof for like one frame, and then he's back down. Just, you can tell it's earlier on, and they were kind of, just a few episodes like that where it's like, it doesn't look great, even though it's
reminded me there's an episode of Invincible this past season where like they're talking about like all the shortcuts in animation, where like the camera's moving, but notice how none of the people are actually moving in this shot. These are all these shortcuts. But like that's what like some of the stuff like in here felt like.
Oh yeah.
But one of the things I noticed too is like there's like a short clip, like they go to like a TV at one point, and there's like a short clip of a news desk person, and I was like, is that meant to be Chevy Chase on Weekend Update? Because it was like, even like, it looked like it was styled to look like Chevy Chase, and then it was like even like framed to look like the 1970s like Weekend Update kind of thing. I don't know if that was just top of mind of me because I saw the Saturday Night.
I need to see that movie
in the past month. It was really good. And the dude that played Riddler on the Gotham TV series, he plays Chevy Chase.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Yeah, he does a really good job in that too. But yeah, I noticed that, and I was like, I wonder if that's just like a like a little slight nod to the fact that most of the cast of Ghostbusters was from Saturday Night Live, and they were like, hey.
Yeah. It's probably on. Well, I'd be curious, because again, I don't know if they put notes for the animators overseas to do that, or if it was just like they had that reference.
Just like having to be, maybe. Yeah. I don't know, I just happened to notice that, and I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But and then, like you were kind of saying with like this, like using like the real life kind of like lore of different things, I gave them more of like a reason to use Ray in it too, because that's kind of like Ray's thing, is to like know all of like the occult stories and whatnot. So like how they worked that in with him here too. I think that's cool too, because like then if like a kid's like would have like been watching this, they've been like, oh cool, I'm learning about like actual like lore and history and stuff. So that's kind of like, if people haven't seen it, like the Halloween tree from like a roughly around this time. It's like a TV movie that was based off the Ray Bradbury book.
Okay.
But that like goes into like the whole lore and like backstory of Halloween and everything in that as well too. So if people have seen this episode and they kind of liked the point of reference where it's coming from, that's a good animated film to seek out, that I try to recommend to everybody. And then if people have been to Disneyland, in Frontierland, they have the Halloween tree over there in in Disneyland. There's like a whole backstory to that. That you'll
Where's
have
the
to look up,
Halloween
'cause
tree at Disneyland? Where is that?
It's in front. It's in Frontierland. It's just like
yeah, but like what near?
it's like near like the kind of like the like the shooting gallery kind of stuff. It's
Yeah.
just kind of near like as you come in, it's just lit up with like orange lights.
Okay.
So it's
I'll
kind
keep
of
an eye out for that next time.
framed by itself.
Okay.
But there's like a whole
Is it
backstory
only
to that too.
around during Halloween?
Yeah, or is it?
I mean, technically, that tree is there all year, but it's highlighted during Halloween by putting the orange lights in it
I
and
think I know what
everything.
you're talking about. Yeah.
But yeah, Halloween tree. I would highly recommend that to people, or check out the book too. If people like this. So this is where my notes on some of the Janine stuff. I was like, so Janine is like one way in the movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, I feel like they were trying to do something in this animated series that felt like they were trying to like, because she's like a smart woman that can like handle herself and stuff in the movies, and then in this it feels like they try to make
She's
her
a prop.
Yeah, like a prop, and but like more, I don't know, like damsel in distressy kind of stuff, and then like also the way that they like have her dressing all the time, which doesn't feel like
Also, the end of the episode
oh yeah,
where they're
tickles.
tickling her. Like what? After
Perfectly
playing a prank on
normal.
them?
I was like, yeah,
Yeah, I was very confused, sir.
Janine is one of the interesting character arcs on the show because she was a lot more prominent, or at least she had more personality and stuff early on.
Yeah.
And she had a very distinct look. And then moms complained that she wasn't very motherly or whatever. And
She's
so
a childless cat lady.
so they turned
She's
her
a
like
smart lady.
so they changed her look. They made her like they toned her down, and she just had kind of like glasses. It basically made her kind of boring. After J. Michael Straczynski left, and
parents in the '80s ruined fucking everything.
yeah, they did. There's like she's the only woman there. She should be the motherly figure or whatever. She shouldn't be, whatever. And so, and then when J. Michael Straczynski got back, he was like, "Fuck this!" And then so he did an episode called "Janine, You've Changed." And basically like retconned why she wasn't like how she was, and basically saying she was like possessed by some demon or something. And then they reverted her back to like her cool glasses, cool outfit, crazy hair, stuff like that.
Because I mean, her look does definitely change from Ghostbusters 1 to Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
So did that change happen then?
Yes. So like
In
her
time? Okay.
Annie Potts' look in 2 was to connect to like Janine's more pop cool look in the cartoon.
Interesting.
I mean, it wasn't. I mentioned this before. It wasn't. I don't know. Blatantly racist, but when Slimer and Winston are playing checkers, and Winston's like, "Jump me," and Slimer literally jumps him, I was like, interesting that they chose to do that with Winston. There wasn't something else I was gonna say. Oh, I thought it was interesting how they could see inside the containment unit.
Yeah, that was in the Janine episode too.
Yeah.
The rules kind of changed on that a lot as well. Like sometimes like Slimer going in there was like life or death, and then sometimes like in Janine Melnitz comic Ghostbuster, it's like you just jump in and jump out, no big deal.
We'll just tell the other guys, no, you stay in there, you can't come out too.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I always loved whenever they went in the containment unit as a kid. I always thought it was, I don't know, just like you always wanted to see what it was like.
Isn't there an episode where the Ghostbusters themselves go in somehow?
Winston goes in, I think. I'm sorry, not Winston. Spangler. Sorry, Spangler goes in, and he dresses in like this spacesuit, and it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Aww.
The pussy.
For people listening, there's a cat.
Jay needs to bring his out now.
This is Vladimir. He doesn't talk.
I'm
He's
down here.
microphone
She's
shy.
down here.
Is that Vlad the Impaler?
Yeah.
You guys both have V-named pussies. Is that on purpose?
Nope.
I didn't name
Ours
him,
was named
so
that
no.
in the first place. Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't name ours either.
Choke.
Jay, when you said something about like the animation, that also reminded me of Sam Hain's like teeth in this.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, this guy's got some like janky ass teeth. He needs to go see like a supernatural dentist. Or
Well, he's like, I don't know,
He does.
2,000 years old or whatever. I don't know, 1,000 years old, whatever he is. It's hard to keep your teeth going good that long.
His head is also a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does that age over time?
Pumpkin head.
are his teeth pumpkin seeds?
Maybe.
That's a good
That
point.
would make sense.
That would work.
Ooh. Probably why they're like moving around so much.
Yeah. Actually, that makes more sense for why they look like that then. All right, I withdraw my comment about his teeth because his teeth are pumpkin seeds.
Speaking of, I loved Vankuin's comment of shy little fella, isn't he? Probably overcompensating for poor self-image about Sane.
Oh yeah, and then
So
I think,
good.
like Egon says something, and then he's like, "Oh, we should make fun of the way he dresses." Something like that. But was there? Oh, like the thing that Egon calls them like zone dweebies.
Yeah.
Like he was having like a tough time like coming.
What
up with,
is
like,
that? Yeah.
He's a dork, so he's a nerd. He's trying to come up with an insult. He didn't have anything good.
He's like,
So that was
he's-
like, dental
Yeah.
insurance. Oh boy.
That's a question I had too. I don't know if anybody knows why. It's like, how come some ghosts in the Ghostbusters universe look like humans, and then other ghosts just look like monsters and shit?
Well, don't most of the ghosts on the animated series look like monsters? Like most of the ghosts
Oh
on
yeah,
well, most of the ghosts in the movies look like people, except mostly for Slimer, because like the terror dogs aren't ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gozer's not technically a ghost.
but like the brothers that got,
Stay Puffed isn't a ghost. I keep
but, like
saying
the brothers
ghost.
that got,
Weird.
Scoleri brothers.
yeah,
Yeah.
they don't really look like we've seen like what like in Frozen Fair, like that ghost just looks like, you know, a human, whereas like the Scolari brothers, they look like
Yeah,
puppets. So that's what I don't know if that's just like a stylistic choice thing, but
probably.
and also
But
was Slimer a human at one
Yeah,
point?
Slimer, I
just,
don't know.
He's just the ghost of John Belushi, right?
Yeah, I think I've always
Supposedly,
I've always thought of it as like maybe the longer you're a ghost, the more you like just turn into the representation of your
like Gollum.
yeah, like your soul.
That
And
makes
he
sense.
was kind of a glutton, so he's just kind of a representation
Ghosts,
of a
ghouls,
glutton. Or
demons,
something.
oh yeah, that could be it too. It's like what Quip said, because some could be ghosts, ghouls, demons, and specters.
There could also be something about the way that he died affects it, because it's hard to say for the, I can't remember her name from Frozen Empire, but like the Scalaries were in electric chairs, like floating around.
Mhm. Yeah.
I remember having a Ghostbusters 2 coloring book, and it was just the two of them, and it was really fun coloring them all purple and blue.
Yep. It's a good one. Oh my god, the Scoleri brothers.
They have those on display at ILM, and they look really cool too, because they're like on either side of the room there that the
That's awesome.
Slimer into. There's just like a Slimer armature in there that doesn't have any of like anything on it other than his eyes and his teeth.
Oh,
It's-
weird.
It's
Probably
creepy.
everything else like disintegrated or something.
Like
Yeah.
those decaying TMNT
Yeah.
turtle heads.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, those are very, very creepy.
Nightmare fuel.
Oh,
Happy
and
Halloween.
the last thing I had about this one was that was a very interesting sound that Slimer made in Sam Hain's hands when he was just like
Yeah.
doing
Mhm.
that. I was like,
Mhm.
I mean, I guess he is slime, so I guess it would sound
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that.
Mac and cheese sounds.
Yeah, exactly. Walking through mud sounds. You know, as you do. So did any of you have anything else about that one before we go to Knock Knock?
Nope.
Is there- All right. So Knock
Who's
Knock
there?
season Ghostbusters.
Banana.
Banana who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Banana.
Aren't you glad I didn't say banana? I was gonna.
You didn't let me do it one more time. I was gonna go.
We are 12.
Here, I have one more for you. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Doctor.
Doctor Who.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay, Dad.
So this one opens up with a ghost bowling ball and pins,
Mm-hmm.
kind of specter, whatever. So I was like, I guess maybe this was the Jesus, and nobody fucks with the
Nobody
Jesus.
fucks with the Jesus.
That's why he's made of a bowling ball and bowling pins.
I like Ray teaching Slimer how to fetch. Thought that was a cute moment.
Oh yeah, that was good.
What's this?
The
damn
blue
rest
block
shit?
box. I'm dead. I was sad that Janine said let's roll instead of we got one.
Oh,
I feel like they could have.
She can have different things.
Yeah, but still.
Don't pigeonhole her.
Well, like the rest of them would say lines that they said in the movie.
Did they?
I don't think. Yeah.
yeah. Venkman did say something about calling. I was going to say Spider-Man. I don't know why I said that. Venkman talking about Slimer called him a spud, like a.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure. He's a little spud, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't. And speaking of the sound that Sam Hain made earlier, Slimer, what was all over Janine's desk?
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, I missed it too.
It was like clear
So did I.
ectoplasm.
Yeah.
Well, she did spend a lot of time underneath the desk that Egon was sitting at in the first movie. So, just saying. Yep.
It's a cartoon for kids. Come on.
Made by adults.
That's true.
Speaking of that one dude that was in the subway had a really sweet mustache. Like it was like way out there. No, it was like just this, but it like went and it kept going and like go like. It's just thought it was interesting that a guy in that profession would choose to have that kind of mustache that he would have to maintain a lot. It seems like you'd have to put a lot of wax in that to make it, like stretch out the way that he had it. Reminded me of the wild thornberries.
Yeah.
Nigel Thornberry.
Yeah, Nigel Thornberry's
Yeah.
mustache. That's what the guy's mustache
Oh
looked
my
like.
god. Perfect.
Yep.
But that's what it reminded me of. What did you guys think of this Knock Knock episode overall? Jay already kind of said earlier a little bit, but is there anything else from this episode that stands out like overall to you guys?
It's silly, but I died when the one dude in the subway was like, the 4:15 is late. Hope there's not a problem. And the subway car goes, and the one guy's like, yes, I'd say there's definitely a problem with the line. It's just so matter of fact and dry. I was like, that's hilarious.
The voice sounded familiar too, like whoever did the voiceover for that scene. But I also, when I saw that scene too, I was like, hey, look, it's the cast of Yo Gabba Gabba on that train. That's what it looked like. But
I liked the episode. Yeah, it didn't stand out as much to me as the first one and then Janine's episode. but I still enjoyed it. I can't remember what, I think it was towards the end of the episode, but I said a lot of these noises sound like lightsabers.
Mm.
Oh yeah,
I mean, yeah, they probably used some of that.
probably
Or
some
doubled
of
it
that
up.
makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the only thing I could think of when the thing kept saying "Do not open until Doomsday,"
Mhm.
I was like, February 14th, 2016.
Valentine's Day. Bummer.
Bummer.
But I thought that would have been funny if they had read that somewhere, it showed that on. And I liked the other thing with Egon in here, where someone asked him, it's like, do you speak Sumerian? And he's like, in my sleep,
In my sleep.
underwater,
Yeah.
underwater,
Nice
and with the
photos.
lights off.
I feel like
He
he's
is.
thought of that scenario too many times.
He was insulted that they even asked.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then my kids are like, do you speak Sumerian? I was like, no, I don't speak Sumerian. I don't know what's on the tablets.
Do you know your father?
I don't know this. I don't even know if they know what Sumerian is. Because they showed the text on the back of the tablet, and they're like, what does that say, Dad? And I was like, I don't know.
Someone
didn't
asked
read
if I
it.
spoke Sindarin, and I was like, or Quen, it's either Quenya or Sindarin, and I was like, nope. That's why I hope I never meet someone who does, because I don't think what my tattoo says is what my tattoo says.
We lost the
Oh,
host
We
of the
lost
show.
Mark.
Oh my
Finally,
God.
our show.
It's a
Taking
takeover.
over
Hostile takeover.
of shows that start with geek.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's like I have always wanted to learn Klingon, but I never did.
That's
Hey,
a
there's
tough
still
one.
time.
Yeah,
I mean, it'd be
There's
cool.
so much life left.
Yeah, exactly.
it would be cool. I feel like if I'm going to put the time and effort into learning a language, I should probably learn a useful
An actual
one.
language.
Yeah. That's
You mean you don't want to be like Dwight and learn Dothraki?
No.
I got pulled into the Doomsday door.
so
So
it's okay.
Yeah, you did. Welcome back.
I love this episode. I think it's one of the great episodes because it perfectly encapsulates everything you would want in a Ghostbusters adventure. Like if you're going to Ghostbusters script school, this one does it, right? It's like you start off with just a normal whatever, shit's happening, they're taking care of it. And then there's some big issue, and then it kind of takes over New York City, and then Ghostbusters are the only one that can figure it out, and the stakes are really high, and they have to, they're basically going to sacrifice themselves knowing that the world could end, but they all got quips and jokes, and they're all true to their characters, Bankman's got, doesn't really want to do it. He's lazy, but he's also, he's dedicated. Ray's the most excitable. Egon's the one that actually knows what's going on. And I just love the ending scene where it's like Egon's just shouting the orders, just like switch streams. It's a really good episode. It doesn't Kayla, to your point, it's not as memorable in the sense that you don't have an iconic bad guy like Sam Hain or Boogeyman, or it's not Janine, you're a Ghostbuster or whatever. It doesn't have maybe the iconography of some of the others, but as far as an episode is concerned, it's just a perfectly encapsulated Ghostbuster story, and it should be what you show somebody. This is a Ghostbuster story distilled to its core.
yeah, kind of ticked all the boxes.
Exactly, and that's why I love this episode.
It'll be interesting to see once I watch the rest of them how it'll stack up. Just kind of when me and Johnny were starting at the beginning of Trek, I was like, oh, this is really good. And then later on, looking back at the episode, I was like, that was not so good.
Having more episodes to compare it to.
Exactly.
Let's see. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was kind of my thing with it too, Jay, was that I thought the plot of the episode was great. It would it would work well as like if they were to structure it into like a film if they wanted to. So it kind of like I said, reminded me of the video game a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, why was I noticed Egon was shirtless under his jumpsuit? Like everyone else had like t-shirts on under theirs,
He's a
but
badass.
Because he's wearing a little moss, little chest moss showing there.
yeah. I was like that's
And the animation in this episode's really, really good. This was one of the good animated episodes.
I agree with that. Like the how was the? Was that the Janine one? Or was the Janine one the? Yeah, never mind. Proteus isn't the Janine one. Never mind.
Proteus. Yep.
I was crossing the episodes.
AKA He-Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say he kind of looks just like freaking Adam in that.
I thought it was gonna be He-Man.
There you go.
He-Man.
Cringer. Anything else about this episode? You asked me to say, Sylvie.
That's a great episode.
Johnny.
Great episode.
Nope.
I will say Peter hinted at doing the Doomsday Door as some type of pack-in. I wouldn't argue against it.
All right. That's cool.
Nice.
I'm excited to see what they do with it.
I'm looking at it now. It doesn't look like Ray has an undershirt on either. It looks like Venkman and Winston have black t-shirts on.
Okay.
And Ray and Egon don't.
Maybe those two
They're just
Ghostbusters
raw
run
dogging
hot.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly. A lot's going. It's summer in New York. Summer in New York's a kind of a sweaty time.
That humidity.
Bless you.
Thank you.
And then
Ah-da-da-da-da-da.
and then the last one is Janine Melnitz, Ghostbuster. What do you guys think
Melnitz
of this
in uniform.
episode?
I liked it. I was very worried with where it was going, especially considering, the title of it. And then Slimer is the one that like gets her out of literally a bind in her apartment. I was like, okay, so like part of it's going to be focused on her, but like blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, why are they focusing on the other Ghostbusters if this episode is about her? And then it all came together at the end and she saves the day.
Yeah.
So I really liked it. And I do love how Slimer helps her though. And then I thought it was funny how it was just a bunch of creepy old dude ghosts in her apartment. I was like, of course, that's who's haunting her apartment. Because, like, who else would be? Yeah, and then Proteus, I was like, oh, okay, that's definitely He-Man-esque, especially with the lightning powers coming from his tip, his fingertip, that is. Yeah, especially when he shapeshifts into...
Yeah.
Yeah, and his human form.
Well, then, yeah, it kind of went with like the Atlas statue from Rockefeller Center that's in it.
Yeah.
So it kind of like fits that vibe of
Yeah.
that.
The Gozer reference was cool. They compared Proteus to Gozer.
Yep. Yep.
There was a ghost that screamed in, like, I think it was in the very beginning, and it sounded just like the scream when Mumra transforms from the mummy to Mumra the Ever-Living. I heard it, I'm like, wait, is that Mumra? Because that's a very distinct scream, and it sounded just like it.
Maybe. Yeah, I feel like the sound libraries, they would reuse shit all the time. So I wouldn't be shocked if it was the exact same.
Yeah, it's probably easier to just license sound effects than to go out and make new
Exactly, yeah.
sound effects if you can. One of the things I thought was interesting, just because I made a note of it, was that there's something that like Egon said where he's like reading something off and he's like, terrorists, World Trade Center were like mentioned in the same sentence, or no, by Janine, and I was like,
Hmm.
Oh, I missed
like-
that actually.
and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
and
I
this
noticed
aired
that too.
this aired in September of 1987. But I was like, oh,
That's spoopy.
that's very interesting to like have a sentence specifically mentions both of those things.
Also, just like I feel like anytime I watch something, or like just like hearing World Trade Center, I'm like so weird, like just so weird before all of that. Especially because I was so young when that
A
happened.
double
but-
whammy too, because that World Trade Center bombing was 93, so that was only 6 years after this.
True.
Mhm.
True.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they didn't get the idea from the Real Ghostbusters.
There's enough conspiracy theories about
Dun,
that shit.
yeah.
You don't need to give me any more ammo.
Yeah, that it was like a what is it? Like a scheduled demolition or something.
Yeah,
I'm
whatever
just
the
like,
hell they
Jesus
say.
fucking Christ. People are the worst.
This is where Mark's like, actually, no. Like, no, Mark, no.
I feel like Mark's the least to go down that road out of the four of us.
That would be the twist.
That's all I
twist.
have to say. I'm Zakon just says that. I don't think I have anything else for that episode besides I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Yeah,
Good
I
stuff.
dug it. Like Janine, I think she dons the Ghostbuster regalia a few times. Mark what is going on over there?
I don't know. Oh no. All right, we're officially taking over.
Maybe
Yeah, I'm
he's
sorry,
got
Mark.
ghosts in
my
the
gosh.
machine.
Oh, that's a great extreme.
We are
Ghostbusters
such
episode.
nerds.
It's a great extreme Ghostbusters episode. Ghost in the Machine. Quip's comment. Deke is awful close to Dick Cheney. It was an inside job.
Oh my god. Yes, it's true. This man has
I did
no
like-
dick.
Mark has in his notes too, like they say at the beginning, it's like Ghost of Frankenstein, and I forget who the other ones were, but they were all like famous literary monsters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jack I don't know. Frankenstein and some other monsters was a cool idea too.
Yep. There's also a pumpkin-headed ghost in the containment unit that's not Sam.
It's not
Hain.
Sam Hain.
That was
How much
interesting.
crossover was there? Because like Tombstone Tackle from the toy line never appears in the animated series, does he?
No, I think technically only Slimer and Stay Puft are the only ghosts in the Kenner toy line that make it officially into toy form.
Weird.
Because Granny
Interesting.
Gross was one I thought maybe, but I don't think there's been Grannies, but never Granny Gross. So Mark.
Did a ghost get you?
what is with the internet over there in Arizona?
Paranormal activity. They heard me bring
what
up
I
that
said, just-
conspiracy.
Am I gonna hire
Ghost
the
in the
ghost
machine.
hunters to come out? And
I hate those
Okay.
shows.
I love those shows.
Really? Because they're always like, did you hear that?
Well, no, not Ghost Hunters. That's like Ghost Adventures, but Ghost Hunters, they were originally plumbers, and this was like their side gig that they did in real life. And they go in and they debunk everything before they actually.
Okay, that I could get.
Yeah.
behind. Okay.
But like Ghost Adventures and like stuff like that, they amp up the drama
Right?
for sure.
It's just like, come on.
Like anything that's kind of like that in Ghost Hunters is definitely in the editing, but the people themselves like generally don't really get scared unless there is something that's actually scary that happens, which does happen sometimes. but-
Do you want an interesting story about that Ghost Hunters International, or not international, but like the TAPS Ghost Hunters show?
Yes. Tell me.
So originally, Ghost Hunters was going to be a sci-fi show that was scripted because my friend Chris was in the pilot. They filmed here in
Oh.
Pennsylvania near the Ghost Town Trail. Chris and TJ
Chris
Storm
that
were
I
both in-
met.
Yeah, Chris that you met. That's why he moved out to LA, because he met TJ Storm, who does like the motion capture for Godzilla, among other things.
Ooh.
And ended up moving out to LA because he made those connections. And then instead of doing that and doing the scripted show, they ended up going the reality show route with the Atlantic Paranormal Society. He cut his hair
think they made
for
a
that
good
role
decision.
too, because his hair's always been
Dang.
long, but he cut his hair
Yeah.
short for that, and it was weird.
Whole new person.
But yeah,
Fascinating, as Spock would say.
I don't remember where we. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, you
he's
guys
on
said there's
Dice
Gozer.
Thespians with me.
Nice. Yeah, you said there's Gozer reference. Oh, Jeannie
Yeah.
had a bunch of puns in this episode too. Like she had like a
Very
shitload
punny.
of puns. She's very,
They
very,
had to
very
give
punny.
all the jokes they would give to all the other characters to her.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's most of the notes that I had in there. And then other than Proteus is similar to Gozer in power.
Yep, they do that. They do that a few times during. What about
Okay.
like how would this compare to Gozer? It would make Gozer look like a walk in the park or crap like that. They would do that quite a bit during the
A
series.
chihuahua.
And Janine
Yes.
took him out all by herself.
Mm-hmm.
Because Janine's the shit.
She's a badass bitch. I'm a
Exactly.
boss ass bitch. Bitch, bitch, bitch. That's her theme song.
And we're gonna get an action figure of her in that style for the first time.
So excited.
Thanks, Mondo
Thanks, Mondo. Thanks, Peter.
and Hector, and
Oh, and you got to meet
really, thanks
Gabby.
Alex Brewer. If you're gonna thank anyone, you thank Alex
Yeah.
Brewer.
That's true. That's true.
Anyone have any other notes or comments about these episodes before we go into the cross rip segment from
Get to it.
the
Yep.
Geek the F Out show?
I'm ready. My body is ready.
Is that one of the
No.
lines?
It's just what I say all the time. How are we doing this, Mark? That's also what they said.
Well, I guess we can do it in the same order that we introduced our Ghostbuster stories at the beginning.
Okay.
So I guess that makes me last. Okay, yeah. So then, Johnny, you're first.
So this is your That's What They Said for the Real Ghostbusters. What's small and hairy and green all over?
Wait, do I have to say? I don't know. I don't get.
Yes.
But I didn't. Did I have to? I didn't do any homework. What was I supposed to do?
Oh,
Do
the
you have-
list
do
is
you have
on
the list?
Oh, I don't have the list pulled up. I'm sorry. It's past midnight over here. Hold on. Hold on.
It,
My bad.
I'm East Coast too, Jay. Come on.
I know, but I'm an idiot. So there's a difference.
Well,
between us.
there's that.
Let's see. Hold on. Did you shared it with Geek Down Life, right? Pretty sure I have it here.
Yeah,
Mark.
I can shoot it to you on Discord too if it's easier.
yeah. Either whichever way gets it to you faster.
This is why I asked this at the beginning.
Yeah, I
Before we
know.
started.
Go, keep going around. Or that fucks it up. Here, I got it. Okay, hold
You got it.
You're the
He's got it
second
up.
one.
on. Okay, all right. Okay, good. I got it. I'm here now. All right. You can edit all that out or leave it in. It's great. It's great TV. Okay. Hope I have enough to last the night.
Come to me. Come.
How long have we been at this, anyways?
It doesn't do much for me either.
Try a frontal attack.
I just hope Egon knows what he's doing.
God damn it! Waiting for a chance to come again.
Damn.
Hey, that tickles.
Easy. Easy.
They're in position.
Works every time.
I love a man who enjoys his work.
there's a doorway into the nether regions.
Can we do it again?
I want my fringe benefits, and I want them now.
I'll bust those ghosts myself.
That's it, guys. Just a little longer.
Eat my plasm, Proteus.
You can haunt my place anytime.
Yay!
And see.
And see.
That's it. I think
Did
that's
it.
it.
We did it. 10 points, Gryffindor.
We're the best. Hooray!
So, with that, where can people find? Here, we'll go to Jay, and then we'll go to Kayla and Johnny. Where can people find you, Jay?
Oh, it went away. Oh, there it is. geekdadlife.com. Or YouTube, Geek Dad Life. Or Instagram, Geek Dad Life. And on Twitter, Geek Dad Tweets. Because fuck X.
And then, how about you,
Is
Kayla and
that
Johnny?
Sylvie?
Yes, that's Sylvie. She
Aww.
found a
She's
ghost.
pissed.
You can find us on the internet. Just kidding. You can find us at GTFO channel on Instagram. That's pretty much the only place where we post. And we just finished our Stranger Geeks series. That was a lot of fun. Yeah,
We
so
did.
we're all caught. Johnny is all caught up now. So going forward, me and Johnny will be on the same level. He won't be behind.
Yeah. Finished up Lost and Stranger Things this year.
Stranger
Yeah.
Things also
Wild.
featured Ghostbusters
Yeah.
and future Ghostbuster Finn Wolfhard.
It's a crossover.
We have nothing this Friday. Trek
Yeah.
Retrek should be back next Thursday.
We're gonna do it
switching
live.
to streaming instead of recording. And this Monday, you can see me run the urban fantasy tabletop role-playing game, The Sundered Veil, on Diced Thespians on Twitch. That starts at 9 Eastern.
That's sick.
Nice.
It's a
I
lot of
saw
fun.
this thing on sorry, but it was a tabletop setup, and they, you know, it's like one of those tables and it's recessed, and then you have like these cool little landscapes or whatever, but they put like a TV screen under it, and it was like an ocean, and it was like waves were crashing, and it was so fucking cool.
Oh, I think I've seen that.
Right? I think maybe it
And
was
the bun
Instagram or
bun.
TikTok or something. I was like, this is the coolest shit ever. And then
I get those ads all the time, and then I send them to Johnny, and then I'm like, I'm just gonna get more of these because I'm sending them to. Or like the cool dice that they make, and I'm like, I don't even
Nice.
cool shit. Hey, baby. Hey, baby.
She pushed the door open, and then it banged, and she got scared that it banged and it hit the wall.
Sounds like a dog.
And then for this show, you can find it at animationfascination.net for all the past episodes. And then the Instagram and the Twitter and the Blue Sky and the
Tweeter.
Facebooks. Those are all Animation Fascination or at Animated Podcast. Try one of the two and you'll find it that way. And the bastard that owned animationfascination.com sucks because it's not even an animation website. So
Wow. What a poser.
screw that person. We're making me buy a .net.
We can go poop in a pool.
But yeah, thank you everyone for joining us tonight for this Halloween Animation Fascination special. Yeah, mine doesn't do any of the cool stuff. The computer doesn't like that stuff. You gotta do the two thumbs down so that
You need to
it rains.
find someone who works at Apple. That's my suggestion.
you know people that work at Apple, Mark.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's called Friends
Use
and
their
Family
discount.
discount.
Yeah.
I have a PC.
And one
'cause I
time a
play
year
games.
they get 25% off.
But they have to really like you to give you that. The best time
Yeah.
to do it is at the end of the
I
year, and
haven't
if they
gotten
haven't used it yet, yeah.
Colleen's on Internet Explorer.
She definitely is. She's probably like, Jay, why the fuck aren't you in bed yet? It's 12:15 a.m.
Well, with that, I will let everyone go. But thank you, everybody, for
Thanks for
joining.
having us.
Yeah,
was fun.
thanks. It was
Thank
good to get all
you.
these different perspectives on the animated series. So,
Do it like, what's his face? Eddie.
yeah. I will.
One more time.
Yeah, take us out, Johnny. Shoot it at the screen.